Hello. Hello. Hey, what's up? Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. Cool shirt, huh? It's on sale. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. I was changing the title because I just caught I think I just listened to the entire interview on Fox News. So I changed the title to update it to Kamala melts down during Fox News interview. She does. So I'll play you that. In fact, I was just watching it on what's his name's channel, and Katie's back. Katie was out of town. Now she's back. So, but I'm here doing the show. That's what's important. So I'll show you Kamala melting down. I think I predicted that the interview would go very poorly. I thought it was bad political practice to go on an adversarial interview in particular. I mean, especially since she's not very good at answering questions. So that's what happened. It turned quite adversarial, considering Brett Baer is not even super into Trump or anything. So I'll play you clips, or I was going to run a poll to see if people want to see the whole thing. It's like a half hour long. So I don't know if I want to play the whole thing. The whole thing it's kind of a train wreck. There's a lot of talking over each other. I think it was live, which is good. So you don't have the edited answers like 60 Minutes did. 60 Minutes is in a little bit of trouble for editing those answers. Apparently I'm doing my show. Whatever that is. How are you guys doing? You having a good day today? It's what is it? Wednesday. The 16th of October. God bless us. Bitcoin's at almost 68,000. Gold has done really well for people who are into that kind of thing. Silver has been doing pretty well. I could check on the prices of those today. The polls, the odds keep shifting in Donald Trump's favor. The betting odds, that is, continue to shift in Donald Trump's favor. And then most of the professional sites, the professional prognosticators, have it at 50-50, including Nate Silver now. So I have that. I have a prediction of a mental health crisis if Donald Trump wins, which is pretty funny. And scary and frightening, actually, if it's true. People are reacting also to the Charlemagne interview with Kamala Harris and all commenting negatively about her. So let's see. I see this trending. Kamala's Fox is trending. So people are mounting together clips right now. And I have a few. I pulled from Twitter, and then I don't know where to find an unmolested version of the interview on YouTube or anywhere for that matter. I don't know if Fox itself has posted the interview yet. So, I was going to look up Kamala's Fox. Let's see what the top thing is, her screaming. Yeah. I'll play that for you, and I'll play it for you again later. The top result for Kamala's Fox is her losing it. Like in my title, it says Kamala melts down during Fox interview. So that's the bit that people are talking about.
Talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy, the president of the United States, in the United States of America, should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it. Talked about locking people up.
It's actually good having the full context of that, because it was a full meltdown. It turned into a full meltdown. That was only 20 seconds of it. So let me see. I'll look around. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'll go ahead and run my intro. I'll be right back. And I'll look around to see if there's a full copy of that interview. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman. And I bring you the news, the real news. Yes, I do. I think I found a pirated copy of the interview. Because if you search for it, there's no official Fox News version of it yet. But some people were live streaming it. Who was I watching who was live streaming it? I actually have the link for that in my Discord because somebody shared it with me. It's that guy with the Polish last name, Luke Rudowski. Luke Rudowski was streaming it. And I will... That was a funny clip somebody posted. I'll show you that too. I can show you this. I'll go back to the point in the interview. Or I'll try to find the point in the interview when she lost her cool. It's because she's been going after Trump for Trump apparently saying he would have the military come after Americans or come after, Americans who are opposed to him, kind of. He said the enemy within. I should give you guys the full quotes. I'm sure they exist on the internet. I want to, Kamala and crew and campaign has specifically talked about this. Like it's insane. Like he's like, oh, I'm going to turn the government against the people that oppose me. So Trump, enemy within. Let's do that search and see if it comes up with a video. Yeah, okay, here we go. Is that the clip? Yes. Here it is. Excellent. So this is what Democrats are up in arms about. Okay, lost connection to audio, so I'll stop screen sharing and re-screen share. Democrats are freaking out about this clip I'm about to play, I believe.
Let's remember, you've got 50,000 Chinese nationals in this country in the last couple of years. Yeah. You have people on the terrorist watch list, 350 in the last couple of years. You got, like you said, 13,000 murderers and 15,000 rapists. Right. What are you expecting? Joe Biden said he doesn't think it's going to be a peaceful election day.
Well, he doesn't have any idea what's happening in all fairness. He spends most of his day sleeping. I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military, because they can't let that happen.
There you go. So that's what he said. He said we got to handle these radical leftists, possibly with the military. Okay. So she loses it about that clip. Let me try to find it.
During that time, you said repeatedly that the border was secure. When in your mind
so it goes
did it
over
start
the
becoming
border
a
a lot?
And guns, drugs, and human. Trump's administration, these surgeries were available to on a medical necessity basis
he talks
people
about
in
the
federal
transgender
prison system.
surgeries.
And I think, frankly, that
can't
ad
answer that
from the
very
Trump
well.
campaign is a
She can't answer that very well, but I wanted to play the part of her melting down, and then I can go back and play other clips.
that when you look at an analysis with 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump.
So,
And he
you're
asked
not
her
Joe
about
Biden,
how
you're
she
not
said
Donald Trump, but
she
nothing.
can't answer the question about what would be different. So he really nailed her pretty much. As expected, it's very easy to nail her.
People
That is
tell
about turning the
pollsters
page on rhetoric that people are frankly exhausted of, Brett.
more than
People
70%.
are what separates on who you lift up.
But you-
The strength of
Madam
an
Vice
American president, which is one who the leader is based on divide
I'll start with
arcade.
it. Sorry, you guys are like, this isn't very good. You're just skipping around. I had it lined up on this other stream. Where is it? What does it say at the bottom of the screen here? I'm reviewing. I'll just play some. Fuck it. I'll play some. It'll get to that part.
In which we've been burdened with the kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump that has been designed and implemented to divide our country and have Americans literally point fingers at each other. Rhetoric and an approach to leadership that suggests that the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down instead of what we all know. The strength of leadership is based on who you lift up. The strength of an American president, which is one who understands that the vast majority of us have more in common than what separates us.
Madam
That
Vice
is
President, more than
turning the
70% of people
That is
tell
about turning the
pollsters-
page on rhetoric that people are frankly exhausted of, Brett.
More than
People are
70% of people
exhausted.
tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade,
But you're
people
the
have
lever of
become,
power.
but listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me, the former chief of staff to the president, Donald Trump, former defense secretaries, national security advisor, and his vice president, one, that he is unfit to serve, that he is unstable, that he is dangerous, and that people are exhausted with someone who professes to be a leader who spends full time demeaning and engaging in personal grievances and it being about him instead of the American people. People are tired of that.
If that's the case, why is half the country supporting him? Why is he beating you in a lot of swing states? Why, if he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States? Why is that happening?
Great question. It looks
This is
like
an election for president of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
I know, but
It's not
That's not an
supposed to
answer.
be. It is not supposed to be a
so
cakewalk
are they misguided,
for
the
anyone.
50%?
Listen,
Are they stupid?
Oh
What is
God,
it?
I would never say that about the American people. And in fact, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any of his rallies, he's the one who tends to demean and belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within.
Here we
An
go.
enemy within, talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
We
I
asked that
found it.
question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. We've got to think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So-
So it's true.
I'm sorry.
But he
and
still
with all due
probably shouldn't have
respect,
said that.
That clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
He was asked
No,
about that
no, no,
specific.
that's not what you just showed. In all
No, no, no.
fairness and
I'm telling
respect
you,
to
that was the
you,
question that we asked him.
he didn't show that. And here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times. And you and I both know that. And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy,
There you go.
the president of the United States in the United States of America should be willing to be able to handle criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it.
That's what you did.
This is what is at stake, which is why you have someone like the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff saying what Mark Milley has said about Donald Trump being a threat to the United States of America.
He's quoted in the Bob Woodward book that way, yes.
So
Let
she's
me
back
ask you
in
this.
saying she's a threat. There you go. That he's a threat. Back to that rhetoric. That he's a threat to democracy. They're really, it has been lately, like what she's been doing more is attacking Donald Trump and playing clips of what Donald Trump is saying at his rallies sometimes, because he says stuff that's kind of crazy, right? It is kind of, I think it is kind of, he shouldn't be probably talking about the military going after his political enemies, probably. So it's fair enough. Even though, of course, that like they turned the justice system on him. So in that case is about to be thrown out. Apparently, it looks like. But she is not doing well. The odds are continuing to swing wider. People made the joke on Twitter. It's spreading like Kamala's legs. Very lowbrow humor people have. The odds, because you can see them spreading apart. So there's the odds there. He's ahead now by 17. 58.3 to 41.1. So, and that's on Polymarket. So that's what's going on with the betting odds. And then I have, oh my God, I have so many tabs open. What am I gonna do? Okay, I'll just have to start going through them. I have where Trump stands in the odds or in the polls right now compared to where he was the same time last year. I have the fact that Elon Musk is about to do 4 town halls in Pennsylvania. So Elon Musk is going to be out campaigning for Donald Trump. He's doing 2 events in Philadelphia, 1 in Pittsburgh and 1 in Harrisburg. So he's going out and actually doing on the ground events. Oh, I have this. Yeah, I have that. And so I have several news clips for you guys. So yeah, those are the odds. Looks like Trump's going to win based on the current betting odds, but betting odds aren't always correct. And it still gives Kamala a 41% chance, which is pretty high. You know, it's not that much different than flipping a coin. So not that much different. It's a little different though. Definitely a little different. You got me. All right, I'll go back to trends of early voting. So people have started to vote already. I believe I can cast my vote now. I have my ballot, so I think I can cast my vote. I can just put it in the mail, or I can drop it at a Dropbox if I knew where those were. So I'll show you guys early voting. Let's see what this clip shows. Oh, do you want to see more clips from the interview? with Brett Baer. I already played a lot of it. The meltdown was the main thing. I have Joy Reid also. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can show you this. Okay, hold on. Nate Silver has the odds at 50-50 right now. Even odds. That's Nate Silver. 538. I thought I had that up. Yeah, I think I do have that up. 538 is now, still has Harris winning 56 times out of 100. So 538, which used to be Nate Silver's site, says Harris wins 56 times out of 100. So that's that prediction. And then Predict It has Trump at 54 cents to 50 cents. So those are the various odds makers. So it's about 50-50, except unless you believe Polymarket, which is all foreign betting, mostly foreign betting, apparently, unless it's Americans getting around it using a VPN or something. I told you I investigated betting on Polymarket, and it didn't allow me to, even though I connected a cryptocurrency wallet to the site like you would have to. It didn't give me the option to actually bet. It was like red button. So don't know if it's possible. Oh, I think the sound is out, so I have to reshare the screen. So people are more, definitely compared to the last two elections, Trump is doing way better in the polls, even in the regular old polls, compared to both 2016 and 2020. He's doing way better. And a little bit better in betting odds. Although betting odds last time was, I think, about 50. Might have been about 50-50. Can't remember. Maybe actually Biden was favored last time. It was 4 years ago. I remember I bet on that election.
I rarely beg the audience for anything. I beg of you, don't read anything into any of these trends. Please, every 4 years we do the same gosh darn thing. Look, here's the bottom line. An election day vote counts the same as an early in-person vote or a mail vote. We know from the polling and we know through history that Kamala Harris is very likely going to win that mail vote. We know the early in-person vote is going to be very, very close. A point in this poll, I can find a few polls, in fact, where Trump is ahead in that. But we know that Donald Trump is going to crush the election day vote. And it doesn't matter when the vote is cast. They all count the same. One vote counts for one vote, whether it's cast today or whether it is cast on November 5th, John.
And that goes for people looking at this from both sides. There's nothing magical about an election day vote versus a vote that's mailed in early. There are trends.
43 points, though.
You can
crazy,
compare
right?
When you're talking about early voting, mail voting, in-person voting.
You can try. You could certainly try. But remember where we were 4 years ago? There was a pandemic. We were in the midst of the COVID pandemic. John and I couldn't stand next to each other 4 years ago. The bottom line is this. There's no discernible baseline in most of these states because in 2020, 69% of the vote was cast early, in person, or by mail. This year, we're looking at maybe about 52%. So how are you supposed to compare this year to 4 years ago? And more than that, you know, you might say, okay, all that record early in-person voting, right? But here's the deal. Even the components of that early vote are going to change because the mail vote is going to be way down. Here's a projection, 23% for this year compared to 43% 4 years ago. The early in-person vote could actually go up. That's what the NBC News poll is suggesting, 29% versus 26% 4 years ago. But the overall complexion and the overall number of folks who are going to cast a ballot before Election Day is going to go way down. But the way they're going to do it is very likely going to change. It just makes it impossible. I don't know what to compare this to.
He's weird. Anyway, talking about early voting. Yes, we will have less mail-in voting because it's not the pandemic, not the COVID-19 thing. So we'll have more people voting on Election Day. I could vote on election day, but it's kind of weird because they already sent me my ballot. So I'd go there with my ballot and then fill out my ballot. It's kind of weird. Like if I have my ballot already, why don't I just fill it out? But maybe I'll drop it off on the same day. I don't know. Trump likes it better, because more people vote for him who go. I don't know why it's better to have it be one day, for example. Like that's a weird thing to me that Republicans want it to be. They want it to be one day, but it's only because they perform better with people who vote the same day. It's like they don't want women to vote, it's like because it benefits them. But there's no reason. Now this year they're encouraging people to vote early. So anyway, there's some video. I have some more news about Trump polling as it compared to 2020 and 2016. Clinton in 2016 was 11 points ahead in the polls around at this time in 2016. That's insane. And I don't remember it being that big, but apparently I don't remember being that big because I was covering the election in 2016 too. And I said that Trump had a chance because some polls that weren't oversampled had him ahead. So this time in 2020, Biden was ahead by 7.2 points. And today, Trump is ahead by 1 point. This is in Michigan, I'm sorry. Very important. This is in Michigan only. In Michigan, 2016, Clinton was ahead by 11. In 2020, Biden was ahead by 7. Trump is ahead by 1 now, on average, on the Real Clear Politics average in Michigan. So the complexion of these states, a lot of these states have changed. And then this is another analysis, how much better Trump is doing compared to the same time in 2020. He's 7.4 points better than he was the same time in 2020. And like way better in all these states. You can see Pennsylvania, he's like 6 points better. Michigan, he's 8 points better. Wisconsin, 6 points better. North Carolina, 4 points. Arizona, 5 points. And Georgia, 3 points. Than where he was 2020. And he basically barely lost in 2020. If you believe the official results, he barely lost. It was really, really close. And this is how much better he's doing this time around, which is a lot. I have MSNBC going out to the polls to ask people who voted who they voted for. So let's take a look at this clip.
And I should note, we did not find a single person who audibly would tell us that they voted for Kamala Harris. These were Trump supporters getting out to vote early in the all-important Mojave County. Take a listen to some of our conversations.
Couldn't find a single one.
The difference is going to be that everybody's coming out early. And everybody that we talk to has made a special effort this year to vote. And you can see it here in the parking lot. This library's usually got 5 cars in it. There's a ton of cars in it now.
Said you voted early for the first time.
For the first time.
Why did you vote early this year?
Honestly, because Donald Trump told me to.
Good answer.
He keeps saying it, and I've been thinking about it, and so here I am.
We met one man who did not vote in 2020, but he said he was horrified by the state of the country. So he is voting here in 2024. We met 3 other voters, one that moved from California, one that moved from Oregon, blue states, who said that they moved here and were eager to vote. So it's those types of voters that not only Republicans are watching come to the polls, but also Democrats have a close eye, understanding that they need to really win the Maricopa County area to make up for any potential juicing of turnout here among the MAGA faithful in places like Mojave County, Jose.
There you go. So they couldn't find a single person who would audibly tell them that they voted for Kamala, and that lady was there because Trump said to be there. Yeah, of course. Tell people to vote early because the thing is, you don't know. You might be sick you might be really sick on the actual day, or you might have to go to work all extra hours or something. Might not be able to get to the voting location. Might as well do it early. So we have a bunch of propositions on the ballot here in California this year. I got some conspiracy fodder, which is just Barack Obama having a serious conversation at a funeral for Ethel Kennedy. And you can just imagine what Barack was saying to Biden, but it seemed like it was serious. I'll just show you. Some kind of serious head shaking conversation. Maybe disappointed in Kamala. You never know, though. We need some lip readers to do this one. I mean, genuinely, for real. Find out what they're saying to each other. All right. Want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Truth Revolution Clothing. I took like 7 packages to the post office today. People happy with their shirts. Got a comment on Twitter from somebody telling me how high quality the shirts are. They can't believe we're going to be closing down. Wish we would make more shirts. So we might make more one day. But right now we have the shirts we have screen printed. We chose the stock, the type of shirt. They're really high quality shirts. I mean, some of them are $5. This one I think I'm wearing today is $10, I believe. Bitcoin saves. But crypto future shirts are $5. Bitcoin shirts are $5. The hoodies were about to be sold out, to be honest. People keep buying hoodies. So I see maybe 10 over there, maybe another, that looks like 6 over there, propaganda hoodies. Those are pretty much going to be sold out. So I'm going to kind of miss them. So anyway, get them while they're still here. We still have some, buy what you can while you still can. It's a clearance sale. So basically a soft going out of business sale. And then there's Question Everything shirts for sale too. Those are $15, $25 for hoodies. So we'll think about it. Sales have picked up since we've done the sale. So anyway, do it. I ship them. I take them to the post office. Everything went to the post office today to drop off packages. So it comes with a personal touch. Truthclothing.io. Truthclothing.io. It scrolls across the bottom of the screen, and it's also linked in the description for this show. Oh, I'll play you the original thing I was titling the show about. I have Kamala Harris was on with Charlemagne and said that she would support reparations, which is pretty crazy. Let me see if this plays it.
So my agenda, well, first of all, on the point of reparations, it has to be studied. There's no question about that. And I've been very clear about that position. In terms of my immediate plan, I will tell you a few of the following. One, as it relates to the economy, which is a lot of what you have addressed. Look, I grew up in the middle class. My mother, worked hard, raised me and my sister. And
there she did.
By the time I was in high school, she was able to afford our first home. I know what it means for an individual and a family to have home ownership. I also know, in the context of history, nobody got 40 acres and a mule. So my agenda.
So there's the answer on reparations on the Charlemagne show. She says we got to study it. Okay, I feel like they already studied it. They keep studying it, and they keep finding out that it doesn't make any sense. Oh, she had to admit. I told you guys that plan for black guys, for black men, you can't actually choose to give people government benefits based on their race. It's against the Constitution. But she kind of implied that that's what she was going to do with this $20,000 loan. So, and I said, it said Black entrepreneurs and others is what it says. It says we'll give $1,020,000 forgivable loans to Black entrepreneurs and others. And anyway, and I said, that means they have to give it to everybody. And basically, probably almost no Black people will do it. If I had to guess, probably to be honest, it'll be mostly scammers who do it. People who just set up fake businesses to get $20,000 from the government. Same as happened during the COVID stuff. So anyway, she had to admit, the Wall Street Journal said Kamala Harris's agenda for Black men will be open to all, campaign says. So all the programs that she mentioned actually would have to be for everybody or anybody, not just Black people. So her whole program that was for Black men, including legalizing marijuana, was actually just would apply to everybody. Mentorship, but mostly the $20,000 for 1 million small businesses. I mean, that's so insane. I'd figure out how to set up like shells or something, get the $20,000, use it, spend it as part of your business to feed other businesses that you're related to or something. Set up like 5. Yeah, I'd set up like 5 businesses, have them all pay each other for services. It's $20,000. Forgivable loan. I love that. I love that term, forgivable loan. It's the same as free money, right? I mean, it's forgivable. And people stole so much money during COVID because with that stuff. Anytime the government gives away money, there's tons of fraud and abuse. And that program just sounds like, they'd have to tell you what kind of hoops you have to jump through, but people come up with all kinds of businesses. Start a delivery business and buy a car. And then close the business and you have a car that the government paid for. Now you say this business didn't work out or whatever. Well, at least you have a car. Business expense, right? I don't know. I'm just thinking outside of the box a little bit. But if she were to do that plan. So the words and others. It says it here in the Wall Street Journal piece. While Harris' rhetoric suggests we will provide such benefits specifically to Black men and women, it turns out that the words and others are doing a ton of work. The campaign says that the programs listed under the Black men agenda will be open to all Americans on a race-neutral basis. Just like when they tried to give Black farmers money, and I think white farmers or other farmers sued, and it was thrown out. They can't do that. So I think those are like, you can't favor race. So people are pointing out that okay, let me close some tabs now. People are pointing out that Joyanne Reid is becoming unhinged. Oh, I have like another weird Kamala clip. I'll play it. This is her just being super weird.
There's this whole, I talked with somebody once who said, if you just look at where the stars are in the sky, don't look at them as just random things. If you just look at them as points, look at the constellation. What does it show you? So you just outlined it, Roland. What does it show you? There's.
I love that. Talking about constellations. Here's somebody. CNN is turning more right wing, kind of. They're definitely putting the fire to Kamala Harris a little bit too. So I have a clip of a guy shutting down Kamala's trying to question Trump's mental fitness now. She's saying he's unhinged, that he's lost it. The dancing was weird. I do have to say, the dancing was weird. I played a clip where somebody said it wasn't weird, but it was kind of weird. The playing the music and dancing and stuff, Ave Maria and so forth, that was kind of weird. But Trump being weird, that doesn't bother me. Doesn't make me question his fitness to be president or anything. I mean, yeah, I will vote for him, but it's gonna be weird. He's gonna start a war with Iran, and Kamala wants to start war with Iran too. Actually, Kamala said Iran is our biggest enemy. I just heard a clip of that. So Iran is our number one enemy. So we're going to start a war with Iran, I guess, on behalf of our greatest ally, Israel. Anyway, here's somebody shutting down a Kamala staffer, apparently.
I want to ask you about something you posted on social media that is related to this. You posted a side-eye emoji in response to Trump dropping out of a planned interview with CNBC, alluding again to Trump's mental fitness. Now, the vice president was invited to appear with them, but declined. She also declined to be at that Bloomberg conversation, or to have a conversation with Bloomberg, I should say. She also declined an interview with Time Magazine. Declining media hits really isn't an indicator of mental fitness, is it?
Well, I think anybody who thinks that the vice president's dodging tough questions should tune in tomorrow when she sits down with Fox News for an interview. And so I think she's out there taking questions even from really tough corners. Today, his appearance at Bloomberg was the first event he has done in one entire month with a mainstream media outlet. Everything else has been in conservative media or friendly spaces.
I want to ask you about something you...
So they're questioning Trump's mental fitness. The CNN host points out Kamala turned down all these interviews to show up on Bloomberg and to do an interview with, here we go. I teased Joyanne Reid going crazy, so I'll try to play you that. Okay. Getting through tabs. There's Joy Reid. And then I have another clip of Joy Reid, I believe. She used to be Joy Ann Reid. I used to watch MSNBC like a lot. I used to be pretty left wing. But the party changed. I mean, the party changed a lot. The meaning of Republican and Democrat, I believe, have changed a lot. And Republicans now, I heard somebody told me today their wife is voting for Kamala because of abortion, partly because of abortion at least. And Trump isn't really a hardliner on abortion at all. He never has been. And then Melania wrote in her book that she thinks abortion, everybody should have access to it and stuff. And Trump, historically, before he was a Republican, had been pro-choice or pro-abortion or whatever you want to say. So it's amazing how people get affected by the brainwashing. But the whole party now, like even J.D. Vance was like, oh, yeah, we have to have a conversation about abortion. They're not really that anti-abortion anymore, the Republican Party. And then Democrats are anti-free speech, which used to be that they were pro-free speech. And they're pro-war. They're hugely pro-war. Both parties are pro-Israel. It's just a question of how pro-Israel you take your coffee. They're both just going to support Israel till the end. I was listening to Kamala talk about it too. Israel has a right to defend itself. We're going to give them everything they need to defend themselves. We sent out this really fancy missile shooting down system, the THAAD system, with 100 U.S. soldiers to run it. Anyway, Joy Reid. Let's see. Here's the clips. She's starting to lose it because they realize that Kamala's going to lose, and then they'll start saying people are racist. They'll say people are racist and sexist when she loses. They'll blame it on racism and sexism, even though we've had a male president before. A black president before. We haven't had a female president yet, but almost. You can't really blame sexism for everything, or racism for that matter. Thanks, Joffrey9. Joffrey9 insists that you smash the like button. I believe that is a good thing to do. That makes me show up more when I go live. And I go live at around 4 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday, lately. And I've been doing it. Even though some days I'm like, nah, I don't know. No, I do it. I show up for you guys. I look at clips on the internet for you. I'm doing it for you. And thanks, Job9, for that $5 super chat.
Have you noticed how sharply the polls have shifted in Trump's favor over the last couple weeks? With these claims that Trump is surging with Black and Latino voters and leading in every single swing state, according to secret internal polls, despite all the Hitler talk. Yes, this race will be far too close. Because unfortunately, we do have a fascist groundswell in parts of this country, mainly among white men, let's be clear, but in small pockets among Black and brown men too. This happens to be a global phenomenon as women become more economically independent and seek positions of power. Have you noticed how sharply the polls have shifted in Trump's favor?
What'd she say? They seek, hold on.
Clear, but in small pockets among Black and brown men too. This happens to be a global phenomenon as women become more economically. This race will be far too close. Because unfortunately, we do have a fascist groundswell in parts of this country, mainly among white men, let's be clear, but in small pockets among Black and brown men too.
Because
this happens to be a global phenomenon as women become more economically independent and seek positions of power.
Oh, wow. Wow. That is a crazy theory. I think she went to some really fancy school too, like Yale or Harvard or something. Wow, she came up with a really wild idea that it's because Blacks and Hispanics are... Okay, I'm going to copy for that person who's asking for the Discord. I'm going to link it. I never invite people. It's secret. But I just linked the Discord for Na Sun. But it is a cryptocurrency focused and financial focused Discord. But we sometimes drop other stuff in there. But you have to fit in. If you don't fit in, you're going to get booted really quick. There's like a few of us in there and we share memes. But there it is. I never share that link. It's actually it's not meant to have more people. We're not trying to be more famous. People in the Discord don't even watch this show. We just talk about other stuff, like most like cryptocurrency. Yeah, so people are filling up the Discord now. Yeah, but you can talk to me there. That's cool. It's cool to be friends. So that's her theory. They're fascists. What? That's crazy. That's really wild. And then here she is talking more about fascist stuff. I had 2 clips of Joanna Reid talking about fascism. So
I do believe that this election is a litmus test for American tolerance for fascism. The elements of fascism are rooted in this nationalistic drive for more babies for the state, for a strongman-driven nation, and a deep sort of state-based religiosity. So I do believe we have a media problem, and we do have some of our media that is leading people toward fascism. The question of America has become too soft and feminine. I think that is it's a fascist litmus test. So this question of whether the society is too soft and feminine, it was alarming to me that a majority of Hispanic Protestants agree, but that's not shocking. Immigrants are poisoning the blood of the country. This is one of the most terrifying things that you've heard a presidential candidate say, because it is straight out of Mein Kampf. 23% of Jewish respondents agree with that, because that's straight out Nazi talk.
There you go. So people are becoming fascists and Nazis because they support Donald Trump, just because they support Donald Trump, just because Kamala is losing in the polls, honestly. Because Kamala is doing so badly in the polls and people think she's going to lose and they're all freaking out. The excuse is that everybody's a fascist. Wild stuff. Yeah, I believe she was educated somewhere really fancy. Here's this is wild prognostication too from Mark Halperin, who's on Morning Joe. I know him because he used to be on Morning Joe a lot. I think he's a Democrat, but he's got a crazy prediction about how things are going to turn out if Trump wins, if and when it looks like.
Let's say Trump wins 3 weeks from today.
Mm-hmm.
What happens? The Democratic Party is, I mean, as you said, a lot of Democrats, maybe the majority, believe that Trump becoming president again is the worst thing that ever could happen. So how do they respond to that?
I say this not flippantly. I think it will be the cause of the greatest mental health crisis in the history of the country. I think tens of millions of people will question their connection to the nation, their connection to other human beings, their connection to their vision of what their future for them and their children could be like. And I think that will be require an enormous amount of access to mental health professionals. I think it'll lead to trauma in the workplace. I think there'll be some degree of
Are you being
protest. 100% serious. 100% serious. I think there'll be alcoholism. There'll be broken marriages. There'll be yeah. They think he's the worst person possible to be president, and having won by the hand of Jim Comey and Fluke in 2016, and then performed in office for 4 years and denied who won the election last time, and January 6th, the fact that under a fair election, America chose by the rules pre-agreed to Donald Trump again, I think it will cause the biggest mental health crisis in the history of America. And I don't think it will be kind of a passing thing that by the inauguration will be fine.
The greatest mental health crisis in the history of America if Trump wins. So I won't be the only crazy one. If Trump wins, the greatest mental health in the history of America. I'll play it again.
Won by the hand of Jim Comey and Fluke in 2016, and then performed in office for 4 years and denied who won the election last time, and January 6th, the fact that under a fair election, America chose by the rules pre-agreed to Donald Trump again, I think it will cause the biggest mental health crisis in the history of America. And I don't think it will be kind of a passing thing that by the inauguration will be fine. I think it will be sustained and unprecedented and hideous. And I don't think the country's ready for it.
So mental health crises often manifest in violence.
Yeah, I think there'll be some violence. I think there'll be workplace fights. There'll be fights at kids' birthday parties. I think there'll be protests that will turn violent. I hope they're not, but I think there will be some. But I think it will be more. It'll be less anger and more a failure to understand how it could happen. You know, like the death of a child, or your spouse announcing that your wife announcing she's a lesbian and she's leaving you for your best friend, like a something that's so traumatic that it is impossible for even the most mentally healthy person to truly process and incorporate into their daily life. I hope I'm wrong, but I think that's what's going to happen for tens of millions of people, because they think that their fellow citizens supporting Trump is a sign of fundamental evil at the heart of their fellow citizens and of the nation. That's how they view it.
Well, that's very heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is heavy. I got to see that whole interview. Mark Halperin, Halperin, I believe. So he's predicting a very bleak future. Tens of millions of Americans with a mental health crisis, maybe having fights, physical fights, protest, violence. Yes, I do not look forward to violence, that's for sure. Yeah, it could get crazy. I guess I could see how it could get crazy, especially if the election is contested. Because what if, and this is like a real possibility, is this time Trump is declared the winner and the Democrats say it was rigged, right? The Democrats say it was rigged, and that, just like happened in 2016, actually. But I have I think whoever wins, the other side is going to be going crazy, probably. Both sides are going to go crazy. If Trump loses, they will say it was stolen again, for sure. No matter what happened, they'll say it was rigged. There's always some kind of evidence you can point to. So I think whoever wins, the other side will probably say it was stolen somehow, or somebody did something, some scapegoat. William Birkin says, too big to rig. Yeah, that's what Trump wants, to win by enough that they can't rig it. I think he can win legitimate election. I think he could have won last time if he had done a better job. I think he could have won last time. I don't think it was so rigged that he couldn't have won last time. What do I have for you guys? What else? Trump calling the Bloomberg editor. Okay, here we go. Here's more talk of violence. I think this works well after the last clip. So this is a guy saying that Republicans are going to burn down election centers.
What do you see as the potential for havoc?
Well, first, let me congratulate the reporting on this, because I think it's so incredibly important. And look, this is 100% about race. Let's don't pretend it's anything else. It has been from the beginning. Where are all these suspect votes? Detroit, Philadelphia, Atlanta. What do they have in common? High percentage of African-American voters. Those that voted not to certify those elections were basically trying to disenfranchise millions and millions of black voters. It's that simple. They can't stop blacks from voting anymore the way they did in the 60s with the same kind of success, though with these voter challengers, they're going to try. And I think that what is really to fear here is put yourself in the mindset that the Trump campaign really doesn't think.
It chanted life path. So yeah, the clip's not over. He's going to say they're going to burn down centers. I was going to answer somebody in the chat who says my voice is way louder than
either the popular vote or the electoral college. You look at this campaign, it makes no sense. He's not trying to add voters. What they want to do is they want to win the election night until the inauguration. And if they can go in and they can violently disrupt these counting centers, how will states be able to certify elections? You burn down a counting center in Arizona. How does the governor certify those elections? What world are we in then? And I think that we really have to anticipate that, think about it. One of the great ridiculousness about this big lie campaign is there was not one Secretary of State in America, majority of whom were Republicans, who said that the election in their state was anything short of by the standard rules and fair and free. But that didn't stop Trump.
There you go. He's actually saying we need to anticipate Trump supporters burning down polling stations in black neighborhoods. That's pretty, it is something to think about. Like, are people really that crazy? Not Trump supporters, because I don't believe that's nobody's burning down polling stations. I think that's crazy. But like what people think Trump is or Trump represents versus the reality. Like the image of Trump that liberals or Democrats have in their mind is so distorted compared to how he's really going to govern, most likely, based on the history of him actually being president before and not doing anything really that insane. You know, the worst stuff he did that he was able to do is like assassinating people. I didn't really approve of that exactly, but otherwise he didn't do anything dictatorial particularly. So, but the image they have in their mind is of Hitler, you know. They think it's that bad. And that his supporters are that bad. And they're going to burn down polling stations. That's crazy. So mental health crisis, the greatest mental health crisis in the history of America. Okay, I don't think that clip's going to be that interesting. Trump answering a question about transgender stuff. I have CNN. I told you CNN has gone a little against. CNN has been going against Harris. Let me share this clip. See if it's good.
Aaron, and this really shows sort of just how far left that Kamala Harris got in that 2019 Democratic primary when she was running with Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. She was making this extremely bold promise that she was going to take the U.S. oil industry, possibly criminally prosecute them for their role in climate change. She compared it to big tobacco, saying they knew the effects of climate change, but they hid it from the public. Now we saw there, fast forward to 2024, what are her and Tim Walz doing? They are touting the record domestic oil production from those same oil companies during the Biden-Harris administration. And well, how big of a shift is this? Well, take a listen to just one of those comments from 2019.
Will you order your Justice Department and your Attorney General to investigate Chevron and Shell companies for their part in the
I'm on mute. If I'm on mute, it definitely isn't going to work. I was just talking to nobody. There's someone in the chat who says my microphone level is bad, and at least one person agrees. Many people disagree. I just lowered the gain on my mic to see if it was better. You can compare the volume.
and their damage to our planet in this climate crisis.
I'm saying about these big oil.
I don't have ability to adjust the source volume any higher. Yeah, everybody seems to say it's fine. So, but some people are sensitive to those things. My volume being too much different from the source volume.
Oil companies and these fossil fuel companies, look, you should be really prepared to look at a serious fine or be charged with a crime. And they need to pay the price. So yes is the answer.
And that's very different from obviously what we played in the intro here, but that was not the only time she made comments like this. This was very much a theme for her. Take a listen to a few other comments that she made in 2019.
I took on big oil companies and won.
We've taken on the big oil companies who are polluting. I took on oil companies who are polluting our environments.
Did you
All
really,
right, obviously that is extremely different than what she is presenting right now. But this isn't the only thing that she's flipped on that you found, and you found a lot of other inconsistencies.
Yeah, she's flip-flopped on a lot of issues related to energy. Take a look at just a few of them. She said she was going to ban plastic straws. She said she was going to ban fracking. We have heard a lot about that. And she said,
what do you guys think of the replacements for straws? I noticed they do different things. Some places have plastic is a problem. When they ban plastic straws, and then paper straws are terrible. I mean, really awful. We carry around extra plastic straws in the vehicle. The vehicle has extra plastic straws at least. Oh, well, Katie likes to save anything plastic that we don't use. So if we ever get a straw and don't use it, we save it. But that's good, because if you ever get a paper straws, I mean, they're no good. Then there are these things that I think are biodegradable straws that are like plant-based. And those seem to crack easily. They crack really easily. So but they're way better. But they crack so easily, they crack pretty much every time I get them. Even if I'm careful and unwrap them from the top and stuff. But if you bend them, they crack. And then when you put it through the hole in the middle of the cup, these biodegradable ones, they just very easily. And then you're like, and you get all the air rushing through. You know what I'm talking about, right? CLQD, $20. Holy cow. I better take this super chat seriously. Nathan, have you heard of Charlotte Iserbit? No. She was Reagan's Department of Education chief and did a lot of work exposing school to work, Skinner method. Love your work, man. Thank you for that. No, don't know anything about that person or the Skinner method. School to work. Don't know what that is. Thank you for the contribution. I appreciate it. Now I'm going to feel bad that I don't know anything about what you're talking about. And then I have a Stanley cup that has the plastic straw, the hard plastic straw that's reusable, right? How do you wash that? I was drinking iced tea out of it, and it's all just totally, completely stained with iced tea stain. And you'd think it's dirty, but you can wash it. But what do you use to wash it? You need a pipe cleaner or something. But even then, it doesn't come out. It's like the stain actually sinks into the plastic. So that makes me think, well, the plastic, like it's actually it's in the plastic now. Like you can't just wash it off. So what's up with that? Are those straws good? Zoe Trope has a real pipe cleaner and citric acid. Okay, I could do that. Vinegar soak, like a coffee pot, maybe. Anyway, this is CNN calling her out for some things. Hey, thanks for tuning in
filibuster to pass the Green New Deal. Now, she also ran Facebook ads during that campaign, which were touting her support for the Green New Deal, which were saying that she was going to take on big oil to stop for their role in contributing to climate change. And
so that's how she's different this time. So they're just pointing out, yeah, she's way different. Yeah, I mean, there's no telling what she'll do once she's president. I mean, she'll say anything. I think it's clear she'll say anything. But then, man, she's just got crazy ideas. The $20,000 in forgivable loans, that's a crazy idea. That'll drive up inflation. All those people spend that money on stuff. $20 billion, just give it away to people for starting businesses. That's crazy. Then she has tax. She doesn't ever even talk about it. They don't even talk about it anymore. But the tax on the capital gains, on unrealized gains tax, the unrealized gains, I mean, that's insane. Do you guys think Bitcoin is going up because Trump's odds are getting better? He's going to be a Bitcoin president. That could be part of the reason Bitcoin's going up. He's going to be a Bitcoin president. So 67.7 now. And then gold has been doing well too. If you ever need help with cryptocurrency, you can contact me by texting me at 650-GAY-TAXI, or by messaging me on Twitter. If you need help with cryptocurrency, I still do that. I did a consultation today, actually. So I still help people out with cryptocurrency. If it's not hard to get involved yourself. But if you like that kind of thing, or if you're a boomer or something, you can contact me. And I gave you my phone. You can text me. Mr. Cranky, I covered that. Yeah. The forgivable loans are only for black people, which is illegal. They're not only for black people. She had to clarify that. Even the statement said, and others. Black entrepreneurs and others. The others is actually open to everybody who's starting a business, apparently. 1 million of them. $1,020,000 forgivable loans. And then I wonder if that's in addition to the $50,000 loans that she was going to do. Because she had a plan to do $50,000. But it wasn't forgivable as far as I know. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning into the show. We should be back tomorrow, same time, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Visit our store, Truth Revolution Clothing, at truthclothing.io. Pick up some shirts, and we'll ship them out to you. There's still some Doshi shirts left. I mean, there's not much left, though. Go on over to our sale, truthclothing.io. All right? And then I will see you guys at the next one. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We're kind of like growing a little bit. 130. That's not bad. All right, guys. Tip early, tip often. Vote early, vote often. And we'll see you at the next one. For now, that's what it is.